Hello everyone, it's Willie Key from Sisu here, and today Yunktis released a post in Reddit where they're telling they're gonna disband after the season, and I thought that I wanna make a video about this issue of many pro teams disbanding after they have built some fan base already, because I think it's a great importance that we have these high caliber teams playing in the league and building the fan base and the hype around the game, as it is a great game. But yeah, Yunktis is not the first one to disband, neither they will be the last one. We have already seen quite a many good teams disband, like some NA teams. I don't really follow that scene so much, but I know there are teams that have disbanded in there. Now Yunktis in Europe, also the Playing Ducks from the season 2 disbanded, and the Playing Ducks organization acquired Surge Org from the season 2 for the season 3, and they also acquired the Sirenic from the old Playing Ducks team. And the old Playing Ducks started a new team that's now, or at the moment, the Euronix Gaming. So at least those guys stayed on the scene, but sadly the team disbanded. Also, if we think a high caliber team, there is a Penta that only has Pengu left from the season 1. Everyone else has already left the game, or at least the pro scene. Or actually, yeah, Pengu is the only one left. Sai and Toby left in the middle of the season 3, which was quite sad, in my opinion. But they have some old caliber players from our team, like Yunus. He's in the Penta at the moment. But if they lose one player, let's say Pengu or Yunus, or I think one more. Yeah, if they lose like Pengu or Junas, or I think there was one more Lackey, I guess, then they are going to lose their spot, because they're not going to have enough players to keep their spot in the league. Yeah, or enough original players. But anyway, that team has also disbanded. So at least on the Yunktis case, and why Toby and Sai left the Penta, this is not their words, but my speculation why they have left the game or the teams. Fun. All computer games be fun on the baseline. If you're not having fun while you play the games, it's gonna be really taxing to play the game that you like or love. But if it's fun, you're not gonna be able to do that for a long time. So the fun factor is really important. And there's one thing that fights the fun factor, and it's perfectionism. And I think Sixcutter from Yunktis had it. He has actually said that he had it. I think even in the post he says he has it. Same thing goes for Toby in Penta. He hasn't said it to me, but I'm pretty sure he had it. He wants everything done perfect on the tactics. So, if you want to be perfect at everything you do, you're not gonna have that much fun, are you? So, you have fun. I don't think you should stress out that much about the league, at least not at this point, because it's a new game. Have fun, build your fan base, show that you're having fun on the game. Fun. Anyway, Yunktis and Penta, or at least old Penta, I'm not talking about the new Penta. The new Penta has quite a different tactics that the season 1 or season 2 Penta had. But the old Penta, Yunktis, they built their tactics piece by piece, and they wanted to play really strict drafts end game. So all the pieces in the puzzle had their locations where they need to be. Pretty much all stages of the game. So that's quite taxing. If you don't have any room to play with, you're always doing the same thing on the same strat, of course. You're becoming more like a robot than a human being having fun. Yunktis went pretty far away with this. I have heard this from Six Squadron. He had a 60-page strat book for the season 2. 60 page of strats for season 2. I take my hat off for that. That's amazing. No doubt. Amazing. Really amazing. And because they had so many strats, I think that's one reason why they won the season 2. But now we see how taxing that was. They haven't had fun. So they are gonna disband. I think that's part of the reason. So both tactics, those strict tactics and strats, they must have been really stressful and wearing way to play the game. When all of your 5-mans in a team are able to internalize these tactics and play by the book, those tactics can be really effective, like the season 1 Penta, like the season 2 Yunktis. But with the changing metagame and the constant balance changes to the operators and the game, that makes it really hard and layper's way to play the game, because you need to always keep changing those tactics to be able to play the current metagame or the current balance changes that have happened. And because we have balance changes happening like middle of the season, I can only imagine the stress on your head when something new happens and you have to completely change your whole strats or defensive setups or things like that. Like, that's a pain in the head, even for me. And I'm just about to talk about Sisu's way to play the game. Sorry, but yeah, that's a hard way to play the game. It's effective, no doubt, when played correctly, but it's hard route to take. So I take my hat off to Penta, season 1 and 2, and Yunktis for being able to play that way for that long, especially Penta. They did it in season 1 and season 2. So yeah, hats off for those guys. But yeah, those tactics are not for me, not for my team, and especially not for new teams. So if you haven't tried the competitive scene of the Rainbow Six, please go play Go Forth and play it by having fun and with the Sisu style of a way to play the game. I'm starting to talk about that. So, Sisu's way of playing the game has always been more loose and not as strict as Penta or Yunktis. Don't take me wrong, we have always had strats, and we have practiced, I could say, a fair amount. Not as much as season 2 Yunktis or season 1 Penta or even season 3 Penta. Season 3 Penta practiced a lot, but they didn't make it to the top 2, sadly. And yeah, part of the way why they disbanded, I think, is because they didn't get the results they wanted with the amount of practice they had. So yeah, there we go again. But yeah, back to the Sisu. So yeah, our strats. In the season 1, we had a more strict way of playing the game, and we had been called to always do the same in the season 1, which we did. You can see the WODs. You can see the season 1 finals against Orbit. He used pretty much the same tactics over and over again. It worked. But at the same time, we realized that Orbit had an easy job of adapting to our tactics because we only used the same things all the time. But we only had time to make tactics for a couple different defenses and a couple different attacks. So we had to use only a couple of tactics. But anyway, we made to the second place with those tactics. So I can easily understand why we were called to use always the same tactics and going by the book at the season 1. But everything changed on the season 2. One reason was pretty much because we realized we are not gonna have the same amount of time to invest to the game as the top teams are going are putting into the game. Or I don't have the... How could you even say that? I'm not gonna say that. But that would sound too horrible. Yeah. Anyway, we didn't have enough time. Let's say it like that. We didn't have enough time to invest the same amount. So we had to have a different approach to the game. So what we did was build core strats for attacks, especially for attacks. Have those core attacks, and in the trolling phase and in the early phases of the rounds, see the signals that we needed to see to use a certain core strat. And once the round started, we put that core strat to use, but after that, it came loose. So everyone knew what they had to do for the first minute, pretty much. But after the first minute, everything comes down to me and to my head. I'm making the calls from the fly. From the fly. Correctly. There is no strict attack book for sites. I don't have that. I don't like that. It's too stressful. It ties too much of the flexibility of my unit. So I rather call from the fly. That's what you would do in real scenario anyway. Of course you would have the core strat like you do in Rainbow Six, but what happens on the fly is what counts. So I highly suggest for people to try this calling from the fly strategy because it's way less stressful to play that way. It's hard when you start, but when you get used to it, you're getting better and better. But in the end, if you fail, you can only blame your caller, your shot caller, your in-game leader, whoever it is, for bad calls of if the strat didn't work. So it's hard, but you need to have the team that communicates well enough to play this tactic. But it's effective once you get used to it. Anyway, it's not the same case for defenses. For defense, you need more strict threats. But in there, I also use more loose setup. So I usually tell my people what I want them to do, but how they do it, I let for them. The locations they play is what they have the experience. I don't have it. They have it. They have played that location. They know what they need to do to survive and to kill the enemy. I'm not the one. I play different role. I know what they need to do. I know what I want them to do, where I want them to do it, but how they do it is up to them. So defenses more strict, but still lose. If that makes any sense. Anyway. I think that's about it. I highly suggest teams to try this style as well. Especially for the teams or the in-game leaders that are about to burn down. You're from NA, from Europe, from Xbox, from Asia, I don't care. If you're having a hard time to find enough time to play the game with the strict strats, try the loose style. I guarantee you, this way, you will not burn yourself down. At least not that fast. And I also can promise you that this way will be more fun. Really, that will be so much more fun. And yeah, you're not too bound to your own master plan with that way of playing. Anyway, if you like this kind of content where I share a piece of my thoughts, please let me know. We'll keep signing out.